Hi guys, just checking my audio, making sure you guys can hear me as I've had problems with it in the past. Okay, that seems to be working. You guys can hear me just fine, I believe, and just wait for a couple of people to come in. I know it's late, sorry, I had to re-enter the pings into Google Earth. And a couple of other things, just to work out locations and stuff, hunting club and things like that. So the purpose of this live, and hopefully I'm not going to be on here long, 20-30 minutes, because there's stuff to do, but the purpose of this live is to address comments made in one of the Facebook groups that, hi Tree Helper, thank you honey. Yeah, at least it's working today. Hopefully we can keep it working. So the purpose of this video, as I was saying, was to address some comments or questions or whatever regarding the Lauren Thompson case on one of the Facebook groups that I'm not a member of. So clearly I've been blocked. You know, could be for any reason, but I think we all know why. And so I was only made aware of these comments, and I have the right to, you know, reply to them, to defend my position on various things. If you guys have any questions and I can answer them, you know, I'm still in a position where I'm not willing to answer a lot of things. Some of those things are going to come out in the series. I told you that series is starting this month, because we have the benefit of hindsight. We have the benefit of being able to, in episode 1, say the disappearance, where we have the benefit of putting information into that we didn't get in real time until like 5 months later, for example. So there will be new information, new video from when I went over. Most of you know I went over to the States for 5 weeks. A couple of months ago. I've been back about 3 months. Yeah, 3 months to the day. And I'm coming back again this year. But so there will be new stuff in that. So just waiting for people to come in. So I'll just outline that. But it's going to be Patreon only. There's 2 reasons for that. One, if I make it public, it's going to be a complete shit show and a circus again, and heaps of speculation. And whilst I don't mind speculation, the purpose of it is to keep it factual, you know, direct evidence, etc. And then at the end, there will be an allowance for things in the case that are speculative, but not hugely so. You know, there's only a couple of conclusions that you could draw, inferences you could draw from that. And, you know, I always, when airing things last year and that with Karen, there was one lie, and I'll tell you what that lie was. Hang on, True Helper. I have the right to answer whatever I want and whenever. Yes, I do. And, you know, when you're blocked from something, to me, that's just the gutless kind of thing. You know, people can say what they want with no consequences, but you know, I can't for, you know, for whatever I've aired or anything like that, and I'm not going to go a 4th time to say, oh, well, I guess I am, you know, for my responsibility. Yeah, but you know, no one else has apologized or anything for their responsibility and things that went pear-shaped. So, excuse me, I'm trying to have a cigarette and the light is gone. Okay, so the one outright lie was on the video where where it said Lauren's phone was found. Now, a phone was found, and I said, is it Lauren's? And the answer was, I don't know. And but I was told to put up that it was Lauren's phone. That's the only direct lie. So anything else that was aired, you have to excuse my husband in the background playing a game, anything else that was aired last year, I firmly believed at the time that it had evidence. Since then, since being over to Texas and Louisiana, etc., 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 and thinking about things here, I came to the conclusion that there's direct evidence, facts and things that won't change, and that will be in the new series. I really want to keep it separate. But then there's also what I thought to be sufficient evidence. Really, it really was speculative. And Josh Jenkins, the Texas Ranger, helped me understand that, I think. You know, if you were to listen to the 911 call, he could infer something totally different to the family. And that is exactly what has happened. That will come in episode 2. 911 call, sorry, that will, yeah, it will. 911 call's old and new. It'll come up in the second episode of this. So if you do want to subscribe to that, it's going across the screen, patreon.com/MissMurderAU. You can subscribe to that for $2 a month. The other reason for charging it, besides if it goes public, it's just going to be, it'll go crazy, and Patreon tends to weed out the trolls and a little bit. So, and also that Jennifer, one of our members in the group and that posts in the other group, is helping me with this. So we are working on this together, and so I've put down that we'll have one episode out a month, but I'm actually hoping we'll have more than that. But because it's not just me working on it, both of us, you know, we're kind of trying to work out what kind of style we want to put to it. And we're going to kind of just hashed out today that, you know, it will have the factual stuff, and then we will allow for, you know, some speculation, hearsay, whatever. We'll put all of that into one category. But I don't want it to be wildly speculative. You know, I want it to be something that, okay, it's not, you know, a couple of inferences you could logically take from it, if that makes sense, you know. And so, hello, Red Bum, is my girl. This girl helps out so much. If you haven't checked out her channel, you can click on the link, or you can drop your link. Okay, you can. Oh, sorry, I want to dox you. You can drop your link if you like. So, all right. So I've got to share my screen. Just bear with me, and because I have to share my entire screen, and I don't want to. I don't think I'm going to share anything terribly exciting. So I haven't worked out how to enlarge this. It wouldn't enlarge because it is a recording. So if you can't read it, I'll read it out to you. I'm not going to redact any names because this is a public post on Facebook. So if you wrote it, it's here, and I will respond to it, answer a question, clarify anything you weren't sure of. The link is there too if you want to call in and ask a question about this case. No guarantees I can answer it. Like I said, there's stuff that was kept, is kept from being aired, because if it does go to a criminal investigation, and I did agree with that with the Ranger. So the post started off with Jackie Jackson Stone, and I can't read comments while I'm doing this, guys, so I'll refer back if anyone has anything. Stating, we'll ask you a question. Am I the only one who thinks the sheriff is somehow involved with Lauren's disappearance? And I have opinions, you know, and speculation, just like everybody else. My personal opinion on that directly is no. But there are things I question about law enforcement in Penola County, and that comes, it still, I understand it still has to go into the hearsay basket because it's coming from people, but it's coming from people who live there, you know. So usually, I think this will just scroll down automatically. I've slowed it down though, so I can go through and just pause. So there's a mix of people who say, I think he's involved. No, he's not. What made you lean to believe that? Then Edna Coleman says, okay, maybe some of the social media and regular news have made it look like he's hiding a lot of info from everyone. And I didn't start this conversation, so I'm not spreading anything on him. I stated my opinion as to what I've read and heard. Sorry to offend you. Don't know who you offended. Edna, you must have offended Tonya. Okay. We all have opinions, all right? So just, I'm one of those people who's like, agree to disagree. I'm not in there to get on here and troll you and all the rest of it. So I said this to the Ranger. If you haven't listened to the video, you can go into my playlists, listen to the video, the interview with Josh Jenkins, who's the Texas Ranger assigned to this case. And Channel 19 said, I don't know whose words these came from, whether they came from Karen or but Tori had said, you know, a lot of things in that Channel 19 interview about local law enforcement not really helping as much as a victim's family would think that they would help. And I did say this to the Texas Ranger in the interview, that anytime I put in something out regarding Sheriff Lake and the investigation, it was to force his hand. Yes, that was intentional, because all we were getting was article after article. You guys know, in the Penola Watchman, and see any of the reports online. The narrative was the same. It didn't change. There was no new information. People wanted new, information. And so every time I tried to force his hand and it worked and he went to KLTV, then he wanted to get involved with the Channel 19 interview. It did give us more information in the case, which is a good thing. Tonya Sue Sanders says, why is he withholding so much of the pertinent information that the public need in order to help find her? I agree with that. I'm just saying that even if he himself was not involved, that he is covering up for someone who is. I don't know. And I think when we get around about episode, these aren't set in stone yet, but around about episode 8 or 9, it's going to be the arrested. So we're going to look at all the people who have been arrested, why they were arrested, what happened when they were arrested. It does seem like John Bandy, Lauren's ex, gets preferential treatment. It appears that way. Gets preferential treatment when he is incarcerated. Okay. Scrolling through again. Thanks, Jen, for doing this. Okay. Alyssa Davis writes, there was an article in Penola Watchman where Lawrence family and Joey Ortega and Sheriff Lake spoke. I suggest it be read. Please, no more division on this front. there's no division. I'm not the one who came out with the articles that Joey came out with. I just responded to any comments or allegations or anything against myself. That's all I can do, right? So that episode is also in the in the playlist if you want to go watch that. I don't know if the article in the Watchman is the same as the one online, but it's more about Karen, less about me. Sherilyn Gilliam Bechet said, "No, you're not. I'll stake my life on it that they are involved. Some of their family members were in question as well." Well, that's wild speculation. There's no evidence that family members were involved in this. I've slowed this down a bit because it was going a little bit fast, but Margie Nichols said, just saying, has anyone heard the supposed 911 call? And if not, why not? Okay, so in the beginning, it wasn't good enough for me personally for law enforcement to just say because it's an open investigation. And that's another part of forcing Lake's hand, to go to the media and elaborate more on that. There's going to be new... I haven't worked out how I'm editing it yet, but there will be new information. And in the second episode as well, 911 calls old and new. Margie Nichols has friends in law enforcement who share her point of view as well. Again, yep, that's great. Most of these comments I don't really need to respond to. I think there's just two that so I can address this one. Jackie Jackson Stone said, I thought I read somewhere that Lauren's mum got to hear the 911 recording. Am I wrong? No, you're not wrong. She did get to hear it. Again, that information will be in the second episode of this new series. She did get to hear it. Lauren's dad got to hear it. A couple of other people got to hear it. Obviously, the Texas Ranger got to hear it. And again, I say refer back to that interview in the playlist with him, particularly about speculation and the inference you can take by what you hear on the call. They still don't intend to release it, even though the family weren't asked. And they may have wanted it released. I don't know what their feelings are on it now, but they may have wanted to, but they weren't asked. At this stage, it's still an ongoing open investigation, and they've at least elaborated on why they're not releasing it, saying that, if there is a criminal investigation, obviously you want to be able to use it as evidence and not throw it out. So this, Jackie also says, and I do remember on one of the videos, the Australian lady, well, that would probably be me, was said Lauren's vehicle pinged somewhere else, like a hunting lodge or something, and Lake manages the lodge. I don't know if that's true, but I remember hearing something like that on those YouTube videos. I'd love to be cleared up on that if I'm wrong. Yeah, I think I can clear that up. So Jen and I were talking about this before. I'm going to have to go back and listen to Shelley's audio. Most of you guys have heard it. Shelley was in the car that day that Lauren went missing. And I'm pretty sure, so don't hold me to this because I've got to go back and check. Remember, there is a lot of information on this case. That Shelley said that, remember, Shelley's car got stuck as well. And it's not her husband, but the guy she lives with, Dickie Wells, he didn't even know that at the time. It's like, oh, did your car got stuck in the mud? And she had to get it pulled out. I'm pretty sure that whole thing was up. Was brought up by Shelley. And now, so this is the confusion with the hunting club. All right. Here's the Google Earth map. All right. So the hunting club is off US 59, and it has a couple of different entrances. But for the sake of this argument, all right, I'm not arguing, but for the sake of this debate, let's just put in the one that the address that comes up for the hunting club, and that is up here near the Sabine River at US 59, east of it. Okay. So it was Shelley who was talking about this area up here. This ties in with another comment here. And I'll just let this scroll. And Jennifer, who's working on the series with me, replied, the only pings that Bridget, that's me, has are the ones released by Penola County Sheriff's Office, and none of them are located on the hunting club. Correct. They were pretty sure they were all on private property. Correct. Lauren's parents have heard the 911 call and verified it is her, Lauren, but they've not released it to the public. There have been multiple requests for it, and they were all denied. Correct. The sheriff stated that it is considered evidence in a case in case they get information that turns this into a criminal investigation. Correct. At least that's better than for months saying it's because it's an open investigation. LaWanda Reader agrees with Jennifer and says, Sheriff Lake has no connection to the hunting lodge, which is privately owned. I do believe one video stated pings at that location. It was after the video announced the first pings. Then they accused law enforcement of giving the wrong pings. So this is the bit that ties in, where I'll go back to the map and address what this says by LaWanda Reader. Okay, so then they accused law enforcement of giving the wrong pings. Personally, I wouldn't put that much stock in a civilian's interpretation of pings. I actually agree with you, LaWanda. The area where Lauren disappeared is right on the county line between Penola County and Harrison County, and I think the subject of pings is pretty complex. I also agree with that statement. But doing what I can, looking at the different towers and things like that, you can take this as hearsay, but I would put more stock in it coming from a family member than I would, just a normal person in Penola County. That the 911 call went to Marshall. All right, let's zoom out. So it went to Marshall, and then it was rerouted back down to Carthage. Okay, you with me? So that would suggest not only just this. I'll just bear with me here. That would suggest, with Shelley saying that they're up near the hunting club. There's a couple of different entrances, but let's put it up here, right near the county line, near the Sabine River. That would suggest this area. Okay. You've got Shelley saying that she was in the car that day. You've got the 911 call. So you've got the family saying that it pinged. So that would be a tower up here. Okay. This is just basic, common, logic 101 here. All right. At least from my point of view. So it pings up here to Marshall. It gets rerouted down to Carthage. That's what they said is on the 911 call. So you've got Shelley, you've got the family saying it. Now you've got the search information, the search, the pings, the ping areas, and the searches. It kind of intertwines. That's going to be in episode 3 of this case. All right. So Lauren's car is found down here, and these are the pings provided by Penola County. The reason I questioned these is because they are not near where Cajun Navy 2016 were allowed to search. Jeff Stewart from the original Cajun Navy, and I've done an interview with him as well. You can go and listen to that in the playlist as well. Got lots to listen to. All right. He said that they were not allowed, Cajun Navy 2016 were not allowed to search this ping area. They were to search the Sabine River area over here near the hunting club. Now, that is the third piece of, okay, if it's not direct evidence, but you've got Shelley, you've got the family, and then you've got where Cajun Navy 2016 were allowed to search as opposed to the pings. That's why I question these pings, because I tend to believe someone from the original Cajun Navy whose job it is, and it's an unpaid, thankless job to find missing people. Okay, back to this. Okay, so Kit Kat Martell. What I'll do actually, because I haven't been checking my phone, I just want to go in and use the second device. Normally I do this. Okay. Okay, Jen. No worries. Thank you for helping in that location before. Hi, Mama 6. Oh, you live in Panola County? Excellent. You will, find this case very close to home. Okay, so Kit Kat Martell said, we can't believe anything that was stated in the past due to corruption in the case by that lady, Karen Janice. Not sure why it was said that she was with certain people and then all of a sudden she started running away. But those people didn't call the police, even if she wasn't in immediate danger from someone else. If they were her friends, then why not call the police or a family? That's what I'm confused about. Well, they weren't really her friends. They were down there to do meth. Okay, and we've been through this about Lauren's history with drugs and the other history with drugs. And so Lauren was on the phone, as we know, for about 23 minutes. Then they said her phone went flat. Her phone hasn't been found. So, again, you could speculate on that. Does someone have it? Who knows? If she was with people when she ran off, why not go after her? Her babies are hurting and scared, and her parents want their child back. There is something odd about this case, and things are being left out. I don't know if I have the rest of that conversation. And I agree, things are left out. There we go. But there's got to be reasonings behind it, not necessarily a cover-up, but something surely going on. I agree with that. Perfectly agree with that. And yes, these children do want their mother home. And there are reasons why I went quiet, and for the 5 weeks that I was over there and didn't post anything. And the only reason I care about view numbers is that the higher that number is, the more people it goes out to. That's what I give a shit about. And I did make a promise that I would keep going with this for Lauren until she was found. So I'm going to honour that promise regardless of trolls or whatever, because they're insignificant. So Jennifer then replied to Kit Kat and said, you're right, there's been a lot of misinformation spread about this case and a lot of speculation. So if you're in here late, just go back a little bit and go back to the beginning. I want to talk about speculation and evidence. Some by people with self-serving intentions, and others by people just trying to raise awareness and force a response from law enforcement. I knew Jennifer was talking about me, and yes, for that last bit. So if you choose to believe what Penola County Sheriff's Office has released, and she does, they were on scene with the people she said she was with during her 911 call. So the Texas Ranger said that. I did not know that until I interviewed him. That interview, again, is in the playlist. You can go listen to it. I did not know that they were all grouped at the house whilst Lauren was on the 911 call. That only came out a couple of weeks ago when I interviewed Josh Jenkins, the Texas Ranger, on this case. Jennifer goes on to say that's why they don't have reason to believe they were involved with her disappearance. I don't believe these people tried to help her or call 911 because they weren't her friends. Agreed, they weren't. They were down there to do meth. Shelley admitted, and her mother, Linda, admitted about it being drugs on there, and Shelley handing it over to her mother to hold so she wouldn't get arrested. Jennifer goes on to say, I agree completely that there are things left out, and I would love to know what they are, because I also agree there's some really off things about the case. Agree. I believe wholeheartedly that someone there that was there that day knows what happened to Lauren. I agree. But they can't force a confession. Agreed. We talk about that with the Texas Ranger in the interview, which you can go and listen to. So Jennifer's belief is that there were some things that have been done throughout the investigation that have absolutely hindered them from getting more answers. And it's not just on my end and anything that I took accountability for. It is also on law enforcement's end. And you'll see that in episode 1 of Lauren Revisited. Okay, so we can give you like factual information that you can check or whatever, that shows that law enforcement dropped the ball big time on this. Even before I came along, even before Karen came along, even before Joey Ortega came along. Okay, so Kit Kat Martell replied again, so that there is negligence very much so from the beginning. Yes, there is, and we will show you that. If she was with those people, then why did they not go after her? Why let her run off by herself? Clearly she was in distress. Well, you can go and listen to the audio about Linda, Shelley's mother, who was there that day. She was saying that Shelley was antagonizing Lauren. Lauren was jittery and, uneasy and things like that. And she said that Shelley was doing donuts, and Shelley left that conveniently out of the, And Sheriff Lake confirmed in the Channel 19 interview, which was around July, August, with Tory. He then, again, forcing his hand to put out more information, and it didn't come out until I had aired the audio of Linda and Shelley that there was, as he says, horseplay between cars and that. So there's like white paint on Lauren's car, white paint streaks that you guys have seen. And so Kit Kat goes on to say, so what if you are scared of facing trouble? Her family deserves closure, and eventually the guilt will eat you up, but her babies deserve to know what happened to her. Come rain or shine, they will find her, and what happened in the darkness will surely come to light. Yes, I agree. I agree with all of that. But I also... I just need to, sorry. Okay. That went on to say that because she was involved in drugs, doesn't mean, some bad people, doesn't mean she's not worth finding. Yeah, and if you go and listen to the a Cajun Native versus Cajun Native 2016 interview where I talked to Jeff Stewart, the founder of the original Cajun Navy, and we could talk about this. And from the very beginning, I've said just because she has a checkered past or anything like that doesn't mean she's not worth finding. And, and that's kind of the feeling we got from the very beginning, is that she was on that other side. There's the people worth finding, the upstanding citizens and of Penola County, and then there's those meth heads and that's kind of how it felt. And Jeff Stewart completely agreed about that. That's an interesting interview if you want to go and listen to that. That is there as well. Now, whilst I agree with Kit Kat Martell, and this is the last bit that I need to address, whilst I agree with a lot of her comments, this one I just need to address, and then I'm going to go because I got a belated Valentine's Day movie and Chinese food happening. It says, the scary part of this all is that just this case alone and the persons who have interfered with investigation may have caused a trickle of many other crimes, and it sickens me to even think of that, because while many other crimes were happening, a mother of 3 was still not at home with her family, and eyes were taken away from her case, chasing empty rabbit holes. Okay, 2 things to address with that. That's speculation, for a start. That is wild speculation. There is no proof that it is caused trickle-down other crimes being committed in Penola County. So why are you allowed to wildly speculate about stuff? But the minute I do it, or anyone who supports my channel or me does it, then it's the most terrible thing in the world. Secondly, even if they're empty rabbit holes, go and listen to the interview with the Texas Ranger again, where he talks about, even if it just seems wildly, speculative or whatever, we still go and check it out. And if it happens again, we still go and check it out. So as far as empty rabbit holes go, you don't know if they're going to be empty till you get to them. And this is the way that law enforcement, the Texas Rangers have worked, I'm sure, for many, many decades before I was even born. This is the way that they check their leads and things like that. That's pretty much all I have to say. Just checking chat. Mama is 6, so you're busy, Zadie. You used to live in Penola County. And you're in DeBerry. Is it DeBerry? DeBerry. Hell, I had a 5-minute conversation about saying this word, saying DeBerry. And you lived there 16 years? Wow, that's a long time. All right, so just going to turn my screen share off. And that is what I wanted to address, just those comments, okay? I'm not angry at anyone. I'm just addressing them and saying, this is why. Why? Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to wrap this up at the 40-minute mark, if you do not. You live near Shreveport? Yeah, I know. It's not too far. When I come back, I'll be in Louisiana again. Last time I was in Lake Charles for 2 weeks. But this time it won't be Penola County. You're welcome, Zadie. I am just trying to help, and if people who want to put it out there and that it's all, because I'm a YouTuber, of course, it's all about money. It's all about views and that, isn't it? Well, I say I agree about the views. The more views, the better. It doesn't affect how much money I get. If you want to check and see, that's all posted transparently on a Facebook group, exactly how much money's been made from this case over a year. I can guarantee you it's less than $20. So there you go. But yeah, definitely share it and get it out there, because I don't know if doing this new series, focusing on direct evidence versus hearsay and speculation is going to help. But it can't hurt, okay, because there's not being put, there's no more random stuff being put out because I'm not associated with Karen anymore, and I can think a lot more clearly. They do deserve justice. If justice is the Mama 6, yeah, I tend to agree. She would not leave those babies. By all reports, she was a good mother. Yes, she had a problem, a substance abuse problem, but that doesn't mean that she wasn't a good mother or that she doesn't deserve to be found. So opinion, speculation everywhere, but hopefully we will clear that up shortly with a, more clear account of things that happened and didn't happen and things like that. Thanks for joining, guys. Stay tuned for that. If you want to join Patreon, patreon.com/Miss Murder AU.